Welcome to Glacial Knits Podcast, Episode 4, the new Glacial Home.
The new Glacial Home. That's what we're calling it.
Yeah.
It's someday, April 30th.
Yeah.
April 30th.
We are recording in April.
Yeah.
Hi.
We have not put the March episode out yet.
Nope.
Which I will remedy, I promise, before I put this episode out. Although it might be like 5 minutes before.
Mm-hmm. But it'll be out first.
But it will be out first. So, as we will have told you in the March episode, but have not yet told you in the March episode because it is not out yet, we have moved. We were moving.
Yep.
The last time we spoke to you, which is why the March episode is not out yet.
Yeah.
Because it turns out moving is a lot of work and takes up a lot of your time.
And then you can't find your stuff, and it's just... Moving's the worst.
It's not the worst.
Okay.
It's just... It was a little chaotic around here. But we have moved into a new house. We do not own said house, but we live in it. And so it's very nice. Our space is set up, and someday when there's not stuff all over, I'll show it to you.
Yeah, we have both a new craft room and a new dyeing space.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I have a room just over there that is completely dedicated to yarn and sewing and things like that, which is pretty great because in the old apartment, it used to be in the living room, and that was fine, except I felt really bad running Sorry, I'm adjusting my shirt because I put this sweater on over the top of my t-shirt like 4 seconds before we started the podcast, and now my sleeves are all bunchy. No, I used to be in the living room, and I felt really bad running the sewing machine because I don't know why. But now, it's over there. It's in a separate room that has a door that doesn't close because there's stuff in front of it. So now I can run the sewing machine even though it's probably closer to the television and the actual usable space of this room because I'm in a different room.
Yeah. And there's doors that theoretically someday may close too.
I permanently set up the room such that unless I rearrange the room, those doors won't close.
Okay, that's fine. Cool. So anyways.
And we have a basement. And so the laundry room is laundry room / dye studio now, and it's half set up. And so someday when that is set up, I will take you down there and show it to you.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's nice to have a dedicated space that isn't the kitchen. One, just because, I always worried a little bit about dyes in the kitchen anyway. And two, now that can just be down there going, and I don't have to stop because I'm hungry.
Right.
I really need to make lunch right now. Let me turn all of this off and clean up.
We can also make all the stews and not worry about it.
Yeah. It's just, it's a lot nicer that way to just have that space. I mean, I have to keep going up and down the basement stairs, which is, probably good for me. Plus, it's cold down there right now. But, that's a small trade-off, really.
Right. So what we're knitting this forever, yeah. Again, in the episode you haven't seen, I started this shawl by Ryks. It's called Angularity. I am still working on it, but as you can see, there's a lot more to it.
As you can see, you don't have to stand up. I
know, lady. As you can see, there's a lot more to it now. I'm actually on the last section. It's to the point, I'm mid-row, so I can't unfurl it. It's to the point where it's taking me 30 to 40 minutes just to do a row now. So someday I will have it finished, and I will have this delightful orange and brown shawl finished. And I have big plans to wear this with so I have pants that are probably a little bit more burnt orange, but would complement well with this. And I have a really nice brown vest that would go well with this. And I just kind of want to go dress pants, old-timey, throwback vest and a shawl. I feel like that'd be a nice dress-up look.
You guys, I joke with him. I'm not actually joking, but is what I think he's finally figuring out all the time, that I feel like his goal in life is to perfect the look of urban cowboy, which he's doing really well. Because I promise you that under that brown vest, he will have an orange and some color checked shirt.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I got 2 of them.
I know.
I could see one of those.
I know. So that's what's happening is, so.
Yeah, and I'll totally wear my boots.
I know you'll wear your boots.
Yeah, so that'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
But due to the vastness of this project, that's all I have.
Do you want to talk about it? Because it's a cool you can't really give away the secret sauce, but you can talk a little bit about the way it's constructed.
Yeah, so it's all garter stitch, but there's a bunch of, let's see if you get, let's see if that's not great. This is better.
Yeah, I feel like the beginning it did way more with that.
Or it just was more noticeable. So let's get this so I don't drop. But you get these really nice, because of Josh has you doing a lot of short rows, so you kind of get these nice irregular chunks of color, so it's a little bit more visually interesting. And you're also alternating between doing both colors held together, some of just one color, some of just the other color. So you're getting this nice color blocking. So I'm learning how to do short rows from this, which is cool. I'm learning how to do make ones, which is a thing I'd never done, which is a good skill to have. And then, I don't know if I have a good one, but so when you do the short rows and you eventually have to join them together, you kind of get this nice, almost turned 90-degree texturing of where you're joining short row to short row by picking up stitches. Yeah. So it turns out being a pretty cool, variable blocks of color and textures without having to do anything other than garter stitch, which is nice because then I can concentrate on the new stuff and not doing weird, crazy, fancy stitch patterns.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it looks really complicated, but it's actually a pretty good, beginner/advanced beginner project because it's just garter stitch, which means one stitch. And then short rows are, I feel like people are really intimidated by short rows at first, but then
I think
you figure out that all you have to do is just not knit all the stitches in the row.
Yeah, and
it's some magic thing. His switch has flipped in your brain where you're just what is this genius? And you're just short rows, and it's so intimidating. The first time I did it when I was making socks, I was everyone was always oh, short rows, short rows, short rows, and I was what is this thing that I'm supposed to be afraid of? Oh, you just don't knit all the stitches. Oh, okay. Yeah, and so that's maybe I'm giving away knitter magic. I don't know. All right, so that's you, yeah.
Yeah, that's me. So what have you been up to, and what are you currently?
All the things. Somehow in the midst of moving, I forgot a thing because it's in the laundry. In the midst of moving, I somehow still managed to finish a whole bunch of stuff. I'll put pictures in of the thing I didn't show you, which is the Ariel sweater, the brown sweater.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I've worn it twice already.
You're right. It's been so long.
Because it's been so long since we've podcasted. And I don't remember where I had left it, but it was not done. It was close to done, I think. I might have been on sleeves at that point. I don't remember. But that's finished. I finished that sort of end of March. Mm-hmm. And have worn that. I love it. I love it. I'll put in some photos here so you guys can see that. Because it's a pretty cool sweater.
Yeah.
Because I, skeptical about variegated yarn plus sweater. I mean, I own an absurd amount of sweater quantities of variegated yarn because I don't think about things like that. I think about them now. Uh-huh. At the time, I didn't think about things like that. But the alternating skeins and just the way that pattern is mostly reverse stockinette, which I think variegated yarn looks so much better on the reverse stockinette than it does in stockinette. So the cool thing about that sweater is it's not supposed to be reversible, but I held it up once with the stockinette side out, and I was like, you could wear this way. Okay. I might wear it inside out just for funsies. Mm-hmm. but it looks, so the variegation doesn't really pool so much, like a little, but it's not to the point where it's like terrible and pooling and flashing, and I think it's a really nice sweater. It's a nice neutral, even though it has like that blue and the yellow.
Yeah.
It's just it still mostly reads brown.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks nice with jeans. It looks nice with, like, some other colored pants. Probably there's a dress that I have that I could wear it with. I haven't attempted this yet.
No.
I'm sure that thing exists. So I like it. And then that was the end of March. And then I was, so this hat is my March skein, my March bag yarn. After I was done with the Ariel sweater, I just whipped out a hat, and actually what's great is, I had started doing it, and I did it as written, which it doesn't have it has a flip up brim, and as written it doesn't. And I knit basically the whole hat. No, not even basically. I knit the whole hat without the flip up brim, and I was angry at the amount of yarn I had left over, so I ripped it out and added a flip up brim and knit it again.
Yeah.
Because I had swatched for this like way earlier in the month. Probably before our last episode I showed you the swatch, but it took me like 2 days to knit this, and it's actually, I've worn it and it's a little big, so I think I'm gonna rip it out and make it smaller.
Okay. Again.
But seriously, I knit this in like a day and a half. Yeah. Hats are so fast. Like, knitting a hat is just like something I do for fun while stuff is drying.
Jerk.
You'll be even more mad at me about the next hat. So this hat is the Pathways hat. It's a free pattern, and I do not remember who it's by. I will put it in the show notes. It's designed after one of the hats that Emma wears in Once Upon a Time, and it really does look like that hat, because I saw that show.
Is this the red hat?
I think hers is like almost a weird gray color.
Oh, okay.
She has a bunch of hats that have like almost the same pattern.
Okay.
But I think this one's the gray one.
Okay.
And that the yarn is this is Malabrigo worsted in the Garden Gate colorway, which I have a whole sweater in. I have yet to wear sweater and hat together. I will be horribly entertained by the fact that my hat matches my sweater, although probably no one else will care or notice. But it's got this nice seed stitch, moss stitch, whatever pattern on it, broken rib. It's got 5,000 names. And then these cables on the side. So I'll show you and put it on. My hair's up, but it's still. So it's nice. It fits. It's like a little loose. So I was wearing, it's been really windy. I was wearing it in the wind, and I thought it might blow off my head. So I think I have to make it smaller. But I like it, and making it smaller is not hard, or whatever. The next time I'm waiting for stuff to dry while it's blocking, I'll just make that smaller. So then hat number 2, I had dyed, this is my color. I dyed this. This is a Mirkwood colorway. I had some bulky weight single ply hanging out. Jonas knit a hat out of it. Yep. The Wombats hat. He said, she said. I think you saw it last time. Yeah. It's the same yarn, different color, obviously. And I was sort of testing this colorway, so I just grabbed this worsted and dyed it. It's the Mirkwood colorway, and fortuitously there was a hat pattern called the Mirkwood hat that required the correct weight of yarn for it. And you lose the pattern a lot because this yarn's so variegated, but I like it anyway. I'll show you here. It's like, maybe you can see that patterning.
Kind of got like diamonds.
It's like a diamond sort of. It's supposed to look like trees, I think.
Okay.
This Mirkwood. This took me, seriously, I knit it in a day. I started it April 1st and I finished it April 1st. Because it's bulky weight on like size 9 needles.
And you knit ridiculously fast.
I don't even feel like I knit ridiculously fast. I feel like but maybe that's true. I don't know. But I haven't worn this a lot because I wanted to take it to use it as a show sample, even though I don't sell this base anymore. I just want to show off the colorway. So it looks like this. It's pretty cute. And I was sort of joking, like April 1st, I started knitting a bulky weight wool hat. And I was like, well, you know, because I knit super warm hats in April. And then it snowed.
Yeah, I blame you a little
and
bit.
then it's like in the 30s. So
yeah, it's almost May. It's in the 30s. It's delightful.
So I knit 2 hats. It's fine.
I'm not saying it's your fault that we're having this weather.
I'm not saying it's my fault either. I'm going to blame this terrible state. It's not a terrible state. It's a nice place to live. The weather's awful. Really don't move here. Unless you live here already and you love it. I'm not a native, so yeah. I make disparaging remarks.
It's true.
So I also finished this.
Yeah, I love that sweater.
I started and finished this in April. I think I swatched. I think I was blocking the swatch while I was knitting one or more of those hats. I just finished it yesterday. I wove in the ends today. It's called Pathways. No, it's not. That's the hat. It's called the Linear Pullover. And it's by Sarah Cook. It's a pay-for pattern on Ravelry, but totally worth it. I mean, unless you can figure it out yourself. It's basically sweater formula. You knit it in pieces. You knit front and back separately. It's like provisional cast on at the shoulders and then front and back separately until the arms, and then join, and then sleeves. And if you can probably figure out how to knit a basic pullover. But this stripe pattern is
I like how the stripe
unique.
Pattern.
It's because it's sort of a random number of things, but because I was just gonna knit a basic pullover, and then I found this and thought, well, I'll just give someone money to do that math for me.
Yeah.
Which was totally worth it. So I added on this. I added the ribbing in purple here. And the ribbing in purple here. In the original sweater, it's just the main color. And then I added this onto the sleeves because the sleeves were. But I used so little. I had a skein of this purple. And I used so little of it. I was like, well, I want to put more on here. And I'm glad I did. I really like the sleeve thing.
Yeah, I like the accent on the sleeves.
Yeah, I saw someone had a pattern. Somebody who knit it had their pattern page. And they had done it on one sleeve. And I thought, oh, I like that. But I did it on both. So...
symmetry.
Yeah, because I'm not an asymmetrical person, so yeah, that's that. The yarn is One Twisted Tree, and I refer to this as my low key Hogwarts sweater because it's 2 Harry Potter themed yarns, but it's not any of the Hogwarts colors. So it's this gray is Hinky Punk, and the purple is called Night Bus Escape. Because it's violently purple.
Yes, it is violently purple.
So yeah, One Twisted Tree. It's the Lavish. It's their sport /DK. Wait, it's really nice yarn.
Yeah,
I really liked knitting with it.
Your nails match your sweater right now.
Yeah, it's a weird talent. I was telling Jonas yesterday I had to go to this wedding tea, for Jonas's cousin's fiance. That it's very complicated, but I had the dress I had on. It was at somebody's house that I don't even know these people. I've never been to this house before, and I had a dress on, and then I sat down on the chair, and it was basically the same flower pattern as on my dress, and everyone was like, "Oh," and I was like, "Yeah, sometimes I just match. I don't try. It's a weird talent." That's that.
Yeah.
So, also have been watching a lot of Real Madrid.
Oh yeah.
So this sock is not as far along as it was because I started doing a not just plain vanilla sock, but I had to remath it, and you really lost the pattern in the sock, and I figured that my remathing was not going to be worth it with the fact that you couldn't see the pattern. So it's just a short row. It's a short row heel, plain vanilla sock in this year's Real Madrid colorway, which if they win the league, the name is getting changed. So currently it's called Cuarenta for 40 because they had their 40 game unbeaten streak fell apart this year. But if they win the league this year, then it will be a record number of championships.
Okay.
So, and if they win the league in the Champions League, then it's getting called something else even.
Okay.
Still. Anyway, I've been watching them a lot because they were making things very tense for me.
They're not making it easy.
They're not making it easy on me. So I just started the leg of the first sock. And regardless of their progress, I will finish the socks. I'm not gonna they're done playing. I'm not gonna knit these socks anymore because I didn't start them at the beginning of the season, so I missed out on hours of knitting time. So. But this is I have yay much yarn left. But those are coming along, and I've been watching Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, we're both doing the Gilmore Girls swap with the Odd Duck swap.
Odd Duck swap group, yeah.
This is going to be my first swap. I'm nervous.
So I'm trying to actually, for numerous reasons. One, I'm trying to get this done so that I can start the swap project next month. Two, I really want these needles back.
Yeah, they've been in there for a while, haven't they?
Yeah, and I want to knit shop samples out of my sock yarn, and I can't because I have 2 sets of sock needles, and one is here and one is here. And I'm not buying new needles. Don't even go there because I don't need to have more socks because I only knit one thing at a time, except apparently when I theme my things around my television, which is actually kind of stressful because yesterday I wanted to watch Real, but I also needed to do something that wasn't knit those socks, and I was like, but I really want to watch this, and I need to not knit. And it was terrible because I felt this weird obligation to be knitting my socks. I was like, I'm missing out on 2 hours of sock knitting because I have to do this other thing while I'm watching. It was terrible. It was terrible. I don't know why I keep getting myself into these situations.
I don't know either. But I don't know. I'm impressed by your commitment to your themes.
I do have a commitment to my themes. So I've finished the leg on this sock. I am at the heel turn right now. So this is Regretting Tonight's Foolish Mayhem by KnittyMelissa. I've shown it to you a few times in previous episodes, but this is the leg. So it's got this X pattern and then cable down the side, and the yarn is Good Trip. It's part of the Gilmore Girls colorway by Spartickes dyes. And I love it. This is the completed first sock. So really all I have to knit is this much more, and then I'll be done. I'm somewhere in I'm in season 5 already.
Yeah.
I might just watch it immediately again when I finish it. It might just be a permanent loop of watching Gilmore Girls.
So, you have more yarn.
I have more yarn, yeah.
You got from that yarn farm.
And I have to do this swap, so.
Yeah, that is true.
Whatever.
Right. So dyeing. Oh. You've been doing a lot of dyeing.
I have. Well, I'm trying to get ready for a show. So vending Zombie Knit Apocalypse in Rochester in June, which we talked about in the last episode that you didn't see yet. And so I'm trying to get ready for that, which means a lot of dyeing, which is fine because I have a dye studio now. And it's good. It's just actually my problem, which you cannot see, it's a very, if you were in my house, it would be a very visible problem. My problem is winding. Once everything's dyed, I have to reskein it all because I don't know how these magic wizard dyers can dye skeins and have them come out perfectly and not tangled up and not so ridiculously a mess that you would never want to sell it to someone. But I am not that person. And so I have to reskein everything. Which I don't have an electric anything. It's a manual process.
Yeah.
So I've been dyeing mini skein sets, which is great. They dye up super fast because it's basically like I dye 5 sets at a time, and there's 5 colorways. So it's basically like dyeing 1 skein at a time because it's a 20 gram. So you dye 5 20-gram skeins. It's like 1 skein of yarn, so it dyes really quickly. So they just whipped them out, and then I was like, oh, but it's not like reskeining 1 skein of yarn. It's 5. So it's every set is 25 skeins of yarn.
That is true.
Like every color. Because it's 5 of each of 5 colorways. So
you're going to have to cash in some work time.
I know, Jonas owes me work time.
Yeah. Because she behaved herself at the tea.
I did. I didn't want to go. It was
you did not.
It was.
But good job.
Yeah. So boy, oh boy, have I been dyeing some things. Which I will now try to fish out from over here. This pile of stuff. You might be able to see it. Let's be real. So now that it's allegedly spring, I've completed my winter gradient. This is it. It's light gray, and then, progressing into a more medium gray, and then sort of a blue gray color, and 2 shades of that. So this is I call it Always Winter because that's what it is here.
Yep.
It's part of the gradients are all inspired by, well, they're currently all but one of them is seasonal, and I have a spring one that I have to work on. But they are, so they're inspired sort of by the world around me. So this one is the winter one, to remind me that winter can still be lovely, even when for months it looks like this. Even when in May it looks like this. No, it's green. The trees are green. It's just real cold, and it's gonna snow tomorrow. Yep,
which is great.
It is great. Oh, I forgot one of them. I'll have to go get it. No, I didn't. Just kidding. I don't even know what my what is right now. There's so many yarn. There's so much yarn over here. I'm missing green. No, I'm not.
There you go, green.
Yeah. These are the ones that are all sitting right here being reskeined.
They're just off camera.
Yep.
I almost said off campus.
Off campus. So this is, I call it Falling Down. This is one inspired by fall colors. It's really bright. I understand that. Like, some people might not be into this brightness situation. But it is really the colors of Midwestern fall. Like really, really, like, the ash trees by my office are exactly this color, which weirdly also University of Minnesota colors.
Yeah.
But you get these colors are the colors that surround you in fall around here, and so this is Falling Down. And then the first gradient I ever did, it was commissioned by someone. Someone did a custom order for me. They wanted a whole sweater worth of this gradient, and I loved it. I couldn't get enough, so I made it into mini skeins, and I call it Misty Mountains because the picture that it was inspired by was a picture of a sunset in the mountains, and just really these pinks and purples and just deep blue purple hues. So it's a tonal purple, 5 colors, and I like this a lot as well. So
that one's pretty great too.
Yeah. So that's that. This is I have to tell you guys about my dye pot failure. So sometimes dye fails. I had this enormous skein of yarn. I'll take the DPN out of it before I stab myself. This is an enormous skein. This is all 1 skein. And I bought 2 of them to dye. I was gonna make myself a sweater, but for this, I'm in the Outlander Swap right now, and I was gonna make a shawl, the shawl that I'm currently swatching for, actually. And the person that my partner said that they like, one of the colors they like was navy, and I was like, oh, I have straight up navy dye. It is called dark navy. I've never used it before, I've never actually had a cause to dye anything navy before. I have a navy speckle, but I always just made it with blue and black. So the navy dye is new to me. And I'm actually, now I need to use it more because I need to know if this was a weird dye pot anomaly, if there was something with the yarn, if the dye is just strange. I don't know. But all I put on this yarn was navy dye. It's pretty much
Halloween.
dark orange and brown with like a little bit of, there's navy in it. The dark bits that you see are navy.
Yeah.
But it really it's the navy would strike and then it would exhaust to orange, and then the parts that were interior, like before I stirred it, would pick up the orange. So I don't hate it, but it certainly isn't navy.
That is true.
So I was swatching it, and it looks like this. Which it's for an Outlander swap, it's actually, I think, okay. It's like a very rusticy brown, orange, blue sort of color, which I dig. I'm not sure that my swap partner will like it, though, so I'm not going to use it. I have decided to default to this orange color instead. But, stuff happens, I guess, in the dye pot. So I'm going to find something I don't need to care about, really, like just some yarn that can get dyed. And I'm going to dye it. I'm going to put the navy dye in the pot again, and I'm going to see what happens. Because I need to know if it was like this yarn had some weird treatment on it that just made the dye act funny, or if something was in my dye pot that I didn't know about that made the dye act funny.
Or if dark navy.
Or if dark navy just turns orange. I don't...
Yeah, it's weird.
It's strange. So, that's me.
Yeah, oh.
You talk about the other stuff.
Okay, so...
It's your brainchild. I'm just doing the work.
That's true. I guess it's coming out of my brain, but I have no talent, so... The girl who crafted will be dyeing it. So, in September... We don't know when in September, because Stars is like that. Outlander is starting up again. So, we wanted to do an Outlander yarn club for that. We're thinking... We'll either start at September. We might start at August, just so you can have something in your hands if you're a big Outlander fan, so you could be theme knitting to the new season of Outlander with your Outlander yarn already in hand. And we were going to do a 2 and a 4 month package. And then for each month, we're going to do a Claire themed colorway and a Jamie themed colorway, and you'll get to pick. You'll get to pick, do you want to subscribe to the Claire or do you want to subscribe to the Jamie? And then if you're doing the 4 months, we'll let you do 2 and 2.
No, I was gonna let them choose each month.
Oh, each month? Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to tie you down to like, I only want Claire themed things.
Gotcha.
You can choose each month, like if you want to alternate, if you want to, whatever. I pick which one you want. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna tell you the colors ahead of time. No. I might give you like a color that it is based around. So like,
yeah,
the Claire one is green and the Jamie one is orange.
Yeah. So we're thinking maybe for the first one, especially if we start in August, we might pick a favorite outfit for each of them from season 2 and do the yarn around that. But then going forward, we'd probably pick something they're wearing.
Yeah, it'll be an outfit or a location or something.
That seems meaningful to the characters. So that's what we're going to do. We'll get a Google form up on the Girl Who Crafted website and probably in the Ravelry group as well. Yep. For the 2 month, we're thinking of maybe doing $55, and then for the 4 month, we'll save you some money and do $95.
Yeah, and we'll have an option for you to add another skein. So if you want one of each color or you want 2 of the color you chose or whatever. I'm still working out, I think for the sake of my logistics addled brain, I will just decide what base I do it on. But I know people like to choose that. But it's a lot of choices otherwise. It's like choose your yarn color and choose your base, which is fun, maybe fun for you, but less fun for me trying to keep everything straight. So
especially when it comes to mailing.
Yeah. So details forthcoming on that, but watch the Ravelry group and watch my blog for that announcement.
Okay.
And the forum.
Yeah. Do you think we have time? Do we have time
Yeah,
to
go
talk
ahead
about
and talk about your stuff. You talked a little bit about the Gail Carriger books on the last episode.
I know, but I wasn't like
you weren't really
into
done. I know.
So we mentioned it, but Gail Carriger has I think all of her books are actually set in what she calls the parasol verse.
Yeah.
The first 5 books focus on Alexia, and then she's got 2 books in a follow-up series that focus on kids of people from the first series.
Yeah, it's like the second generation
of misfits and supernaturals. But they're all scented kind of like a steampunky London, but a steampunky, British Empire, because they go other places.
Yeah, they don't stay in London. They pop around the world, especially in the second series.
Yeah.
Basically, the point of the second series is we have an airship.
Yeah, pretty much. We have an airship, yeah. So it's kind of like it's steampunk, it's Victorian era England. Supernaturals are like integrated into polite society, and there are like, the rules of how you have tea with a vampire.
Yeah, and there's a governing body of supernaturals. So like, basically like
Parliament for
the supernaturals, and there's the daytime folks and the nighttime set, and
they're really entertaining, and I've really enjoyed them, and they're really big on tea in the books, which is cool because I'm really big on tea.
Now we're really big on tea.
When we're done recording this, I'm probably going to go have some tea.
Yeah, man, tea sounds good. It's cold outside.
It is cold outside. It feels cold in here. It's apparently not cold in here according to the thermostat, but I still feel it.
It always feels cold in this house. Even when it's like 70 degrees in this house, it's still cold. I don't know. It's weird.
Either.
I think it's because our other apartment was just so obnoxiously hot all the time.
That could be. Our other apartment was routinely like 80.
It was at least 80 in there. So like now it's like 10 degrees cooler, and we're just like, why is it freezing?
Yeah. So, yeah.
No, so these books are, they're good. I've listened to all of them all the Parasol Protectorate and the 2 Custard Protocol books that are available. There's the Finishing School ones, which I haven't listened to.
Yeah. Yeah, she has another, and there's 1 completed novella. Yeah. And then there's
another one allegedly in progress, which I'm super excited about.
But I don't think they're recording those.
No, but I'm going to read them because I'm really excited about the one that's coming out.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's like 2 of my favorite characters. So yeah, we both highly recommend those. They're not, it's terms of literature, they're not like well written, and they're not bad, but they're not like brilliantly written books. And the plots on the in the Custard Protocol are like,
it's basically excuses to have fun.
Mm-hmm. Like there's no plotting in the second series.
It's fun.
They just fly around the world on their airship, having adventures, which is okay.
Yeah.
Just know what you're getting into. So yeah, we love those.
Yep. And then
because we're super behind, by the way.
Yeah. We finally, like a couple weeks ago, watched Star Trek Beyond, which is a year and a half?
Yeah.
Or 2 years old. And it's my favorite of the new Star Trek so far. I really liked it.
I did too.
It's a movie I might watch again, which is saying something.
Yeah, I'm not a rewatcher. I'm not at all. I rarely watch things a second time. There's so much to watch in my life that I don't even have time to watch what I have to watch. So I don't rewatch things very often. But this I will. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I liked the first 2 of the new movies. I liked them. I didn't. The second one was. Yeah. I have Benedict issues. So, but this one was good. Really, really good. So if you haven't seen it and you're into that sort of thing, highly recommend. Although if you haven't seen it and you're into that sort of thing, you're even more behind than we are, which is kind of amazing.
Yeah, and then for when we're recording this, speaking of trying to not get behind on things, American Gods, the
TV show
starts tonight. And
yes.
I'm super excited about that.
Oh, I love that book. A lot. I love Neil Gaiman in general, but I love that book. I think that was the first one I read. I don't think I read Neverwhere first. I can't remember what order I read them in.
Okay.
But that one it's great because it's set in the Midwest, and one of the most pivotal scenes happens at a place I know very well, which is House on the Rock. My dad has a thing with that place.
Yeah, he does.
He loves it a lot. And I have always found it weird and hellaciously boring. Until I read American Gods, and then it was really entertaining because I could just like, oh yeah, this happened here. I'm gonna just take selfies at interesting points and like do all of the things that happened in the book. And they had a party out there for one of the anniversaries of the book that I really wish I could have gone to, but it was real expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't go. But that book, if you haven't read it, it's all about mythology, but like modern mythology, and it's old gods versus new gods in the best, most clever way.
Yeah.
And so it's picking out who the characters are supposed to be is really fun.
Yeah.
Like if you know about old mythology, trying to figure out who all these people are is really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Brian Fuller is directing this, and he does nothing but wonderful work.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be gorgeous. It's on Stars, so it's got a budget.
It should.
And they probably won't cancel it after 2 seasons.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, Brian Fuller.
Yeah. Unless like that's all it takes to do the book.
Right. I mean, there's that probably. I think it may only be a 1 season thing. It's like 1 book, but but you know, so I'm saying like he knows what he's in for instead of like my show was really good and you canceled it. Pushing daisies.
Yeah.
I'll never get over it.
No.
So recommend that. What else are we behind on? Jonas got a PlayStation 4. I've co-opted it and I've started playing Firewatch, which is a walking simulator, and by all descriptions sounds like the most boring thing in the universe. Like, basically, you end up as this dude who has some life stuff going on and takes this job that's with the National Forest Service, I think, watching out for forest fires in this national forest wilderness area. And it's all from a first person camera angle. And the only human like really that you have contact with is the other ranger via the radio, unless there's like you run into people as you play the game. And you walk around this thing like doing random tasks for the Forest Service, and it sounds so boring, but it's so great. And like I played 1.5 days because it's the time scale of days, and like thus far also vaguely creepy. It's not a horror game. It's not supposed to be vaguely creepy. Sorry for the siren. We live on a busy street. It's not supposed to be a horror game. Like, as far as I know, nothing bad is supposed to happen to you. But there was this whole, like, oh yeah, by the way, there are bears that eat people out here. And you don't, like, as far as I can tell, you do not have any weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what happens when inevitably you run into a person-eating bear. And then there was, like, there was a random dude that was like, I was walking back to the ranger station in the dark, and there was this random dude like shining a flashlight down on me from a hill, and I was like, what up, random dude? What you doing? So yeah, it was it's a little creepy sometimes, but I like it. And because I'm an ecologist, I'm like, I'm gonna check out for forest fires and explore the forest. So maybe if you're not me, that's not big, but like everyone I have ever talked to, who most of whom are not ecologists who played this game, really love it. So that's cool. Walking simulator, apparently the new thing.
Yep, and I think we're about to run out of memory card space, so do a quick thing.
Yeah.
I just started, again, speaking of being out of date, I just started playing Bloodborne, and by playing, I mean I finally nailed my character design that I wanted my person to look like. So, I hear it's a really fun game. Maybe it will be really fun once I actually start playing it and stop obsessing about what my person should look like.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool. So we have to give you real quick, hopefully, before we run out of memory card. You can find us at girlwhocrafted.com. On the blog is where you'll find the episodes. Also on YouTube. Still can't get them on iTunes unless I pay for hosting, which I might do because I'm really frustrated about this. I'm on Twitter as Girl Who Crafted, Instagram as The Girl Who Crafted, Ravelry as The Girl Who Crafted.
I'm on Ravelry as Shopboy Jonas and Twitter as Jonas Solars. Thank you all for listening, watching, joining us.
We'll try to get this episode up in a timely fashion that isn't like a month and a half later.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.